Get some popcorn. Let's go pick up our father's lightsaber.
What is it? Your father's lightsaber.
And enjoy. A New Hope in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, how would it work? Before we start, as we know from the developers at TT Games, we will be receiving 5 missions per film. Each mission will have a duration of 5 to 10 minutes, and the missions will focus their concentration on boss battles and vehicle sections. I have used this to establish and implement my own custom concept on how A New Hope can potentially work. This is speculation, none of this has been officially confirmed as of yet, and if you haven't watched how the Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith will work, I will leave a link in the description down below. Without further ado, let us begin. Secret plans. To begin with, the Rebel Alliance have managed to steal secret plans regarding the Empire's brand new but secret superweapon, the Death Star. The Imperials were in pursuit aboard the Tantive IV and steal back their stolen but secret plans, while the Rebels are attempting to escape the pursuit to analyse the plans to potentially identify a weakness to exploit. The secret plans will have 5 objectives, and the playable characters for the mission will be Princess Leia Organa and Captain Antilles. The first objective is to maintain your position and hold your ground. You are to search for cover and blast the incoming waves of stormtroopers proceeding to your trajectory. The second objective is that you are to search for an astromech droid, R2-D2, and his companion, C-3PO. You are to use stealth. You are to prevent any sound to be heard from you, or else it will alert the stormtroopers to proceed to your trajectory, and you'll be on a confrontation with many stormtroopers. The third objective is that as you've stored the secret plans in R2's memory bank, you are to fend off against the patrol of stormtroopers proceeding to your trajectory, and you unfortunately managed to be labelled as a traitor and you have been captured. The fourth objective is, as the Princess and Captain Antilles have been captured, you are forced to switch to play as R2 and 3PO, and as the Imperials are unaware you have the secret plans, you are to pass through the patrols and locate the escape pods. The fifth objective is, as the Imperials have locked down the system on the Tantive IV, you are to solve some puzzles and override the controls to grant you access into the escape pod to allow you to escape any Imperial entanglements. To conclude, the playable characters and vehicles you would have unlocked are Princess Leia Organa, Captain Antilles, Rebel Friend, R2-D2, C-3PO, a Stormtrooper, and a Rebel Fleet Trooper. As the droids have launched in an escape pod and have escaped and landed on the remote planet of Tatooine, Darth Vader suspects that the Princess has stored the secret plans in a droid. Vader sends a detachment down to the surface to locate the droid and recover the stolen secret plans. Through the Jundland Waste. As R2 and 3PO were supposed to deliver the secret plans to the rebel base on Alderaan, they've encountered some complications. Jawas have captured the droids and have used them to be sold to Owen and Beru Lars, the uncle and aunt of young farm boy Luke Skywalker. As R2 belongs to the property of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke seeks out to the Dune Sea to search for Ben Kenobi to find out if he's a relative to this Obi-Wan Kenobi. The playable characters for Through the Jundland Waste will be farm boy Luke Skywalker and Ben Kenobi. The mission will have 5 objectives, and these are: the first objective is that you are to mount an X-34 Landspeeder from the Dune Sea and travel to some of the towns and ask some of the civilians if they've seen a sandcrawler. Eventually, one of the civilians will know of its whereabouts, and you are to travel to its trajectory. The second objective is you will be forced to halt at times and eliminate some Tusken Raider ambushes, and if the Landspeeder is damaged significantly, you will be unable to find the sandcrawler. The third objective is, as you've found the sandcrawler, you are to infiltrate it by using the Force and using objects in your surroundings to form a ladder for you to climb up, and at times you will use objects to form a bridge, as you will be proceeding and infiltrating the sandcrawler from the roof, or the top of it. The fourth objective is that you are to cut a hole and drop into the sandcrawler and solve some puzzles to grant you access into some of the rooms, which you can potentially find R2 and 3PO. Both droids were separated and they will be on different floors, and you will have to search until you found them. The fifth objective is, as you've found the droids, you are to eliminate the Jawas attempting to recapture the droids, and as you've done that, you are to mount your Landspeeder and travel to Mos Eisley. As R2 has the secret plans stored in his memory banks, he must be transported safely to Yavin 4, while Luke is Force sensitive, and with the death of his uncle and aunt, he wishes to learn the ways of the Force, and to get to Yavin, Ben knows where to find some well-performed pilots and smugglers in the galaxy at the Mos Eisley Cantina. To conclude, the playable characters you would have unlocked are Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, Owen Lars, Beru Lars, a Jawa, a Tusken Raider, and an X-34 Landspeeder. The Mos Eisley Spaceport. As Ben Kenobi and Luke Skywalker seek a talented but a skilled pilot in a ship, which is capable of transporting them to the Alderaan system, they both travel to the Mos Eisley Cantina, and Ben talks with Chewbacca, negotiating a deal before going to captain and smuggle Han Solo, while some bounty hunters speak with Luke and threaten him. The playable characters for the Mos Eisley Spaceport will be Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, Chewbacca, Han Solo, R2-D2, and C-3PO. The mission will have 5 objectives, and these are: first objective is, with the bounty hunters having 4 hearts of health, you are to deplete their health by blasting their cover, and this will make them vulnerable for a short period of time, before the bounty hunters seek cover while fighting off against other smugglers or bounty hunters simultaneously. The second objective is, as Greedo stops Han from going out of the cantina. With Greedo having 8 hearts of health, you are to deplete his health by blasting Greedo when he is vulnerable, and he will change cover over a period of time, and as he does, that will be your opening, your opportunity to deplete his health. The third objective is to avoid any Imperial entanglements, and to prevent any confrontation with stormtroopers. You are to exit the cantina and use stealth, to hide from the Imperial patrols, and if the stormtroopers investigate the perimeter, and if you're spotted, it will alert your position. You'll be on a confrontation with many stormtroopers, and it will be difficult for you to go to the ship. The fourth objective is, if you've successfully managed to escape the patrols of stormtroopers, and if you've successfully managed to reach the hangar, a spy alerts your position, you are forced to battle to the ship. You are to eliminate the guards guarding the hangar, and you are to proceed to the ship. The fifth objective is that you're surrounded. You are to find cover and eliminate the rest of the stormtroopers, and you are to battle the spy. With the spy having 4 hearts of health, you are to deplete yourself by blasting it. To conclude, the playable characters and vehicles you would have unlocked are Han Solo, Chewbacca, a Sandtrooper, a Gardanan, or known as the Imperial Spy, Greedo, Ponda Baba, Cornelius Evanson, Wooher, and the Millennium Falcon. Apologies that I couldn't pronounce some of these. Rescuing the Princess. As Han Solo and Chewbacca intercept a TIE fighter, it draws their attention to the Death Star, and as they attempt to flee, a tractor beam was locked onto the Millennium Falcon, and they board the super weapon, and as they've received intel that the princess is on board, they undergo a mission to rescue the princess and bring her to the rebel base on Yavin 4. The playable characters for rescuing the princess will be Han Solo, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi, R2-D2, and C-3PO. The mission will have 5 objectives, and these are: the first objective is that you are to bring the guards on board the Falcon, and you can use their stormtrooper armour to disguise yourselves, to locate the princess without encountering any potential complications. The second objective is that you are to pass through the patrols of stormtroopers and reach the control room. You are to place binders on Chewie, and as R2 or 3PO, you are to solve a puzzle to locate the princess, and as you've managed to locate her on the detention facility, you are to escort Chewie and proceed to the detention facility, while Ben separates from the crew to deactivate the tractor beam to allow the means of escape. The third objective is, as Chewie is broken out of his binders, you are to blast all of the Death Star troopers and all of the Imperial officers, and you are to locate the princess's cell and rescue her, before reinforcements are dispatched to your trajectory. The fourth objective is, as Ben, you are to confront Vader, and as the Master and the Apprentice meet again, you are to immobilize Vader, and with Vader having 8 hearts of health, you are to block or evade the incoming strikes Vader is inflicting onto you, and you will have the time when you attack or defend, as Vader will be vulnerable for a short period of time. The fifth objective is, as you've rescued the princess and gotten out of the garbage chute, as the crew have separated, you are to proceed down the corridors and eliminate the incoming waves of stormtroopers to be able to reach the Falcon. As Ben sacrificed himself for the crew to escape and R2 and the princess are safe, the crew travel to a secure planet which is the rebel base on Yavin 4, and as the intel has been decrypted, the rebels have managed to identify a weak point in its design which they can exploit. by flying through a series of trenches, evading the Death Star's turbo lasers and firing 2 torpedoes into a tube that leads to the reactor core. A successful hit will cause a chain reaction which will cause the Death Star to explode upon impact. To conclude, the playable characters and vehicles you would have unlocked are a Death Star Trooper, an Imperial officer, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker disguised in their Stormtrooper armour. The trench run on the Death Star. As the Rebels know their mission, the Rebels deploy a series of fighters and bombers in the forms of X-Wings and Y-Wings. The Rebels are to attempt to cause a chain reaction in the Death Star's reactor core, to save their planet and to save other planets from being blasted into oblivion. The playable characters for the trench run on the Death Star will be Luke Skywalker's Red 5 and Wedge Antilles' X-Wing. The mission will have 5 objectives, and these are: the first objective is, as you're reaching the Death Star trenches, you are to blast a series of turbo lasers to ensure that you're able to bypass the Death Star's security defences. The second objective is that you are to fly through the trench and evade a series of lasers from the turbo lasers and avoid any TIE fighters from depleting your health, along with preventing any turbo lasers from depleting your health. The third objective is, as Vader has dispatched the pilots to their fighters, you are to switch to Wedge and cover Luke by destroying 25 TIE fighters. The fourth objective is, as Wedge has sustained some damage and is forced to retreat, Darth Vader enters his TIE Advanced Fighter with 2 TIE fighters covering him. You are to evade the incoming lasers Vader is firing at you, and as the Falcon comes in and manages to immobilise Vader's fighter, you are to fire 2 torpedoes into the tube and fly away from the explosion's radius. As the Death Star exploded and Vader was forced to retreat, the Rebels celebrate by awarding Luke and Han Medals of Honor, while Chewie unfortunately didn't receive one, which wasn't an epic gamer moment. And while the Empire were defeated, for now, the war will rage on through the galaxy, and this isn't the end. To conclude, the playable characters and vehicles you would have unlocked are Darth Vader, Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Fighter, a TIE Fighter pilot, Grand Moff Tarkin, Luke Skywalker's Red 5, a Rebel pilot, a Death Star gunner, an X-Wing, and a Y-Wing. How would you want A New Hope to work in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? Please let me know in the comment section down below, as I would love to know. Feel free to give me your feedback on the video, and make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, join our Discord server, and if you have the willingness to donate, support me on Patreon. All the links to my social media platforms can be found in the description down below. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure that you do give the video a like, as I know you want content to be uploaded. Subscribe to the channel to be part of our community, along with turning on notifications, as you will be able to not miss out on any content that I upload. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.